It's truly a thrilling time for the space enthusiast community. SpaceX is on a relentless streak of achievements with Starship and its Falcon rocket line, while other companies and organizations in the industry are continuously making bold new moves. In fact, there are some truly strange developments happening in the industry, especially with the latest activities of ULA and Boeing involving government organizations. So, what exactly has been happening during this time? Let's find out everything in today's episode. SpaceX is steadily turning science fiction dreams into reality with its Starship rocket system. The recent fifth test flight marked a historic milestone. For the first time in the history of space exploration, a private company successfully recovered a booster on its very first try. Technically speaking, significant improvements were showcased through the performance of the Raptor 2 engines, the heart of the spacecraft. These engines demonstrated outstanding reliability compared to earlier versions, with the ability to start and shut down multiple times with precision and stability, something that wasn't achieved in previous flights. What stood out the most was the thrust vector control system, or the gimbal. This technology allows the engines to swivel and tilt to steer the rocket in flight. The precise control of this system enabled the booster to land gracefully on the chopsticks, as if those robotic arms didn't weigh 80 tons, and B-12 wasn't a towering 240-ton steel structure, as tall as a 20-story building, descending from kilometers in the sky. The upper stage of Starship, the part that will actually carry humans and cargo into space, has also seen significant progress. Compared to the fourth flight, where the ship landed about 6 kilometers off target, this time, it touched down almost precisely at the intended spot. This success is thanks to the smooth coordination between the engines and the ship's aerodynamic systems. Notably, the performance of the heat shield, a crucial component that protects the ship from extreme temperatures during re-entry, has greatly improved. Although there was an explosion in Starship's upper stage after landing, this doesn't diminish the significance of the achievement. Once again, SpaceX has solidified its reputation as a technology wizard of our time, turning what seemed like sci-fi fantasies into reality. This success brings SpaceX closer to the goal of building the first fully reusable rocket system in history, significantly reducing the cost of space travel. It's estimated that this technology could cut launch costs to 1/10 of current prices, unlocking new opportunities for deep space exploration, establishing lunar bases, and even advancing humanity's mission to Mars. And SpaceX hasn't let this success cool off for long. On October 15th, they made another major milestone by successfully launching the Europa Clipper spacecraft, one of NASA's most important missions of the decade. Europa Clipper is not only the largest spacecraft ever built by NASA, but also the first spacecraft assigned to study an ocean beyond Earth. This incredible mission will see the spacecraft travel an astounding 2.9 billion kilometers to reach Europa, the icy moon of Jupiter. The Europa Clipper mission holds special significance in the search for signs of life beyond Earth. Scientists believe that the ocean beneath Europa's icy surface may harbor the necessary conditions for life, and exploring it could shed light on the possibility of life existing elsewhere in the universe. NASA leads the world in exploration and discovery, and the Europa Clipper mission is no different, stated NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. By exploring the unknown, Europa Clipper will help us better understand whether there is the potential for life not just within our solar system, but among the billions of moons and planets beyond our sun. To launch this $5.2 billion spacecraft into space, NASA chose SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, one of the most powerful machines ever built by humankind. Falcon Heavy, capable of carrying up to 64 tons into low Earth orbit, has proven its reliability through multiple high-profile missions. Being entrusted with one of NASA's most critical missions further solidifies SpaceX's standing in the space industry. Interestingly, Europa Clipper was initially set to be launched by NASA's SLS rocket. However, the decision to switch launch vehicles came down to several key factors. First, cost. Each SLS launch costs around $4 billion, a staggering amount, even for NASA's budget. In comparison, the cost of launching Falcon Heavy is just $158 million, making SLS a much heavier financial burden for the space agency. And second, production capacity and timelines. Boeing, the primary contractor for the SLS project, is currently focused on manufacturing rockets for the Artemis program, the mission to return humans to the moon. Building an additional SLS rocket for Europa Clipper would put significant strain on the supply chain and could impact the timeline of both programs. While the SLS could technically get Europa Clipper to its destination faster, production delays would likely negate that advantage. It's almost laughable when you look back a decade. In 2014, former NASA Administrator Charles Bolden made some pretty skeptical comments about SpaceX's potential. "Let's be honest," he said. "We don't have a commercially available heavy lift vehicle. Falcon 9 Heavy may someday come about. It's on the drawing board right now. SLS is real. You've seen it down at Michoud. We're building the core stage. We have all the engines done, ready to be put on the test stand at Stennis. I don't see any hardware for a Falcon 9 Heavy, except that he's going to take 3 Falcon 9s and put them together, and that becomes the Heavy. It's not that easy in rocketry." But time has shown a completely different reality. A decade later, the SLS has only managed one flight, while SpaceX's Falcon Heavy just completed its 11th mission with the successful launch of the Europa Clipper. What's even more remarkable is that right after this historic achievement, SpaceX demonstrated its astonishing operational capacity by carrying out back-to-back satellite launches in less than a week. Not only are they launching satellites for their own Starlink network, but they're also doing it for competitors. This shows that SpaceX has reached a level of operational efficiency never seen before in the history of the space industry. This is just so crazy. SpaceX's continuous successes are pulling further ahead of the rest of the space industry. However, previously, SpaceX faced numerous obstacles from the FAA as the organization repeatedly made things difficult for SpaceX with various investigations. Strangely, they did not do the same with ULA. ULA recently conducted the second test flight of its Vulcan rocket from Florida. While the mission was ultimately considered successful, a significant incident occurred with one of the rocket's solid boosters. I've analyzed this flight before, so if you're interested, please check it out. Now, debris from the solid booster scattered along the eastern coast near the launch pad at Florida's Space Coast. The point is, the FAA assessed the issue with the booster and determined no investigation is warranted at this time. This decision has raised eyebrows, especially when compared to the investigations the FAA has launched into SpaceX over relatively minor incidents that didn't directly impact public safety with its Falcon rockets. This inconsistency and oversight has sparked questions about the fairness of FAA's regulation within the commercial space industry. On October 22nd, ULA posted a significant update on X. "Our Vulcan rocket is getting ready to serve the nation. The number USSF-106 launch campaign for our third Vulcan mission. ULA teams transported the Vulcan core stage from an aircraft hangar to a vertical assembly building near the launch pad, then lifted the nearly 18-foot, 5.4-meter diameter rocket onto its mobile launch platform." Pretty quick, right? Even though no official decisions had been made by the relevant parties at that time, ULA was extremely confident in their rocket. They knew they wouldn't need another test flight. It's almost certain that some behind-the-scenes intervention took place, because the next day, Space Force officials announced that they expected to approve ULA's Vulcan rocket for military missions without requiring another test flight, despite an anomaly in the rocket's second demonstration flight that caused Vulcan to lose significant thrust earlier this month. I wonder how much of the root cause analysis of the nozzle issue will be made public. Clearly, aside from the solid booster, the rest of the system worked well, but they certainly wouldn't want to launch again without knowing what happened and how they can prevent it in the future. ULA worked fast, seemingly because they are backed by the military. After all, ULA was created to provide the Space Force with access to space, so they have an extremely close relationship. But strangely, Boeing, despite having an equally strong relationship with another government agency, NASA, is facing harsh indifference. Currently, NASA just made a critical announcement. All missions under the Commercial Crew Program in 2025 will exclusively use SpaceX's Crew Dragon. This means Boeing's Starliner won't be utilized for any operational missions to the ISS next year. The Crew 10 and Crew 11 missions in 2025 have both been assigned to SpaceX's Dragon. In its official update, NASA issued a cautious statement. The timing and configuration of Starliner's next flight will be determined once a better understanding of Boeing's path to system certification is established. NASA also mentioned that they are keeping options on the table for how best to achieve system certification, including windows of opportunity for a potential Starliner flight in 2025. Additionally, NASA Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy recently made a notable remark regarding the status of the Starliner spacecraft. She said, "It's under data review. We need to have a decision. Do we need another test flight?" Notably, she also added that there's no specific timeline for completing the data assessment. Boeing's troubling silence in this situation only amplifies concerns about the future of the program. It's been over a month since Starliner returned to Earth without a crew on board, yet Boeing has offered no significant updates. This silence could be interpreted in different ways. Either the company is focusing all its efforts on fixing the technical issues, or they're facing more serious challenges than anticipated, or they're upset with NASA, similar to their behavior in press conferences, before and after the launch of Starliner CFT-1. What do you think about this? Do you think Boeing is quietly improving everything and planning a grand comeback, or are they simply not making any significant progress? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Right, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth looks at the latest advancements in space technology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.